Okay, so here's an interesting question for both of you. How would the Venus Project deal with the military and the police? If you could talk to the military armed forces and you were able to be candid with them, how would you approach the military?
Well, I would eventually get them to go back to school to study the history of civilization so they understand the values of different countries. You don't go into another country and say, I'm going to make a democracy here. You don't come in with armament to make a democracy. You give them extension. You serve. You show them how to increase their agriculture. You make life easier for people. You help them provide for need. And in that way, they're not afraid of other people coming. Every time one nation visits another nation, they don't go there to enhance the lives of people of another country. They go there either because they have oil or minerals or something we want. We are utterly materialistic, so is every other nation. I'm not saying there's any nation that's better than any other, but there's none that are better than any one another. Where do you think we got this land? We took it by force and violence from Mexico, Spain, and the American Indians. And we pushed the Indians into the dry reservation areas. Where do you think England got all its territory? Or France? They took it by force and violence. So there's no nation that's decent or ethical. After we sold all the land we need, and France and England, then they put up the sign, thou shalt not steal. You understand? There's no other way nations become large, except through violence and war. And when we won the war, we kidnapped the German technicians, took their rocket ships, we stole their advanced technology.
And if organization and if society gets organized in the future in such a way as we're talking about in the Venus, with the Venus Project, and we share resources, then there's really no reason for military to protect their resources. And there's really, when you have access to goods and services within the society, there's no need for police. And when you have good transportation systems, so you don't need to tell people not to speed, that's just like saying say no to drugs, then you wouldn't need police on the highways giving out tickets. We want to reorganize society where we bypass the need for such laws and we eliminate.
For example, we could even design automobiles with proximity units so they can't hit one another. That's what you really want. You don't want a law they drive safely. You want to design automobiles so they can't hit one another.
We should pass the need for laws and police and the military.
Right.
When you put a person in jail, that doesn't turn them, they don't turn out any better. If a person steals 3 loaves of bread from a supermarket, for whatever reasons, and you give them 3 months in jail, that doesn't eliminate the problem of theft. That really suspends it. So if you make the necessities of life available to people, they don't steal. There's no need for prisons or police. Police are a byproduct of a distorted or warped culture.
Yes, yes. And while they think they're doing something noble, that's for sure.
They all believe that.
Yes.
I'm doing nothing against policemen. I'm just telling you, they too are victims of an aberrant society.
Right. I've been condemned for some phrase I mentioned where I commented on the military, stating that they were, quote, brainwashed assassins, which they felt was a bit harsh.
That's all soldiers.
They were absolutely right. While that might not be polite to state, to the very concept of going into the military, obviously with the pretense of invading another country and going into combat and essentially killing people.
Right.
So there's no nobility or educational aspect. The Army is an educational institution. I mean, granted, people can learn certain things, they're technical, but anyway, I just want to point that out.
The Army's notions of defense is building weapons. Whenever you build a weapon, some other nation that can't build a weapon will hijack an airplane and use it as a weapon. There is no security. At all the airports you have detection devices, and yet people are able to smuggle things in. It's very easy to design clothing that give off a noxious gas that will kill people that can't be detected by X-ray. Whatever man thinks of, some other nation could think of another way around that. The only security is bridging the difference between nations and making resources available to everyone so they all have a piece of the pie. And that's what it's about. The nations that fight back, that hate each other, just want a piece of the pie. That's all it's about. And if you conquer other nations, rob them of their resources, take things away, destroy their environment, you're producing forces that are adverse to our way of life. So you will always have war and hatred if this system continues. It's self-eliminating. We're working toward eliminating the well-being of all people on Earth. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, look up the Venus Project. It's called the VenusProject.com.
Right. Well, this is a radio show for the members, so they know that, that's for sure.